welcome again. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 mindset ideas that will help you with your personal growth as far as your success journey. Because guess what? Whether you are in business or just or you are in corporate, you need to be able to make a growth a priority in your life. And indeed, that is what I'm about to do here, to share with you these 5 ideas, hopefully, that will help you thinking differently and moving your life forward. If we haven't met before, my name is Beatrice Yakobo. I am the founder of Simply Family Business Marketing. I help you with your marketing needs to put your business online effectively so that you can promote to your audience and make more sales, more money, and indeed grow, so to speak. Now, let's get started with the 5 ideas that I'm about to share with you. Number 1 is you have to have a growth mindset. What does that even mean, growth mindset? Now, with regards to growth, unfortunately, most of us don't grow once we finish school. The reason is that there's a saying that when we are in school, we are open to learning because we are learning to sit an exam and to be able to pass your grade and get a certificate. But for majority of people, once we finish, once we get a certificate, once we start working, we start having family, and life gets in the way, and indeed growth doesn't become an important aspect of what we want to do or what we even pay attention to. But guess what? Without growth, without intentionally growing yourself on a day-to-day basis, guess what? Growth doesn't happen. And when you don't grow personally, obviously a success becomes a challenge as well. Because there's a saying that before you can get to the level of where you want, you have to do something different and something new. Otherwise, your how you got to where you are, you did certain things, for example, being in school and doing all the things to get your grade and getting the job. But even for when you are in the job, to get promoted and to get moving up the corporate ladder or in the business, to get the business out there, you need to grow. And how you can grow is changing your mindset. So just reading mindset books, for example. And if you are not somebody who likes to read, you don't necessarily have to read. You can listen to books. And I have been doing that for years, because if you listen to, instead of listening to radio, instead of listening to watching Nollywood, for example, watching or just binge watching Netflix, you can listen to audiobooks, you can listen to motivational talk, you can listen. In fact, YouTube has a wealth of knowledge that we can glean from. Just listening, even listening to one message over and over and over, your brain just gets tired and say, you know what, I accept. I will accept these ideas, and indeed, from now on, I will live accordingly. So yes, having a growth mindset is important. And also, if you are somebody who likes to read, is even better. Why? Because when there's a saying that the highest paid profession in the world are public speakers. But guess what? A lot of us do not want to be speaking to the public, even to do Facebook video or whatever type of video becomes a challenge. I was one of them, not wanting to show up in any way for anybody to see my face. But then you want to be able to do that, because if you want to grow, that's part of the way to grow. And also, so when you read, according to Rabbi Daniel Lapin, the author of Thou Shalt Prosper, he says that read loudly. So even if you read half an hour every day, just make sure that you are reading loudly. The reason is that you are helping yourself and teaching yourself to public speak. Because when you are reading it out, you are kind of getting your vocabulary in order. And that means that that's preparing you for when you stand up to speak in front of people, you are not scared, because you have been doing that for some time, only not in front of people. So yes, that's your growth mindset. The next one is no risk, no gain, or no reward. I like that. There is this song, you can get it if you really want, but you must try, try and try, try and try, and you succeed at last. I love that song because you can get anything you really want, but you have to try, because if you don't try, nothing is going to happen. But the trying part is where we fall short, because we are afraid that we will lose our money, we are afraid that we will lose our face. In fact, it is this guy, Russell Brunson, who says that the reason why people don't want to buy things is because they don't want to lose status. Because when they buy things and it perhaps doesn't work for them, they lose status because their friends and families might call them names and things like that. But I want to say that, and this, within this video, you can Google that. No gain or no risk, no reward. The people who risk most actually get rewarded. The people who stay safe actually get left behind. There is a saying that for most people, that's the reason why schools don't teach us about some of these things unless you actively rise up to learn it. Because when you learn it, it's a different world altogether. You just become powerful in one way or the other. You feel convinced in your mind and in your heart that whatever it is that you are looking for in this world, God has made provision for you already. So it doesn't matter, even if you invest the money and lose it, guess what? You are going to rise up again, because you are a risk taker and you are somebody who is determined to get whatever it is that God has placed in your heart. So yes, do not be afraid to take risk, because no risk and no gain. The third one is curiosity will keep you thirsty for more. What does that mean? The point is that when you are curious, it means that you are somebody who wants to find out more. There's also a saying that when we are children or when we are young, we are always asking questions. Unfortunately, for some of us, it used to get us into a lot of trouble. I was always asking questions. Unfortunately, my mom didn't know some of the answers. And in Africa, when you're asking too many questions, they just shut you down because they don't have the answers and nobody cares. But when your child is asking questions, it's a good thing. I remember telling my sister the other day, because my niece liked asking questions a lot. And I said, when she asks the question, even if you don't know, Google it and tell her. But don't shut her down, because that's how people develop. That's how people's mind become open. That's how they grow to not be afraid of asking questions. Unfortunately, for some of us, we had to really try to get out of that shell. Otherwise, a lot of people just kind of remain there because as a child, you were shut down for asking questions, you weren't allowed to speak, and so on and so forth. A lot of adults can't speak now, or can't voice their opinion, or can't contribute things because even on social media. In fact, the other day I was being interviewed, and then some of the questions that came was, what about if I go on social media and then people starts to do X, Y, Z? And I said, yes. The point is, you cannot hide because of another person's opinion about you. So the point I'm trying to say is that you need to be curious. If curiosity got you into trouble when you were younger, yes, that was then. But now you can be curious. I am very, very curious. I want to know a lot of things, and indeed, because of that, I apply myself to learning new things. And it's just interesting that the little amount of time that you invest in learning something, how handy that thing comes to you when you actually need it, when you don't even expect that, you need it at this point, it just comes handy. So yes, remain curious, and indeed remain thirsty for learning, for knowledge, especially for the things that you want to achieve. Because when we talk about success, it varies. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's just to be comfortable. So whatever it is that you are wanting to be successful at, be curious about that path and learn a lot about it. Gratitude, celebrate others' success. Be grateful and celebrate others' success. I like this point. Why? Because for some reason, some people do not celebrate others' success. And for that, I mean, where I grew up, when somebody is successful, it was frowned upon because we kind of reflect our own thinking on them and then label them as XYZ. Meanwhile, it is us because, for example, if someone became successful with money, for instance, or someone became successful with their marriage, and they're talking about it, people would always say that, say negative things about it because it is not about that person, it's about you who is talking about the negativity. So be happy for whoever succeeds. Why? Because that's how you attract success to yourself. You cannot despise successful people and hope to become successful. And I have learned this, and it's interesting. When I learned it, I was just feeling, wow, really? Because I grew up insulting rich people all the time, and it wasn't just me. A lot of my friends and my colleagues know that we just despise rich people. And why? There was no particular reason. And you can't despise rich people and want to be rich, because the reason why we despise them is because of the money. So why would money come to you? That is the reason why you would celebrate with people who are successful. If you are, if you want to marry, if you want to get married and your colleagues are getting married, it's happy for them. If you want your business to thrive and you are seeing people posting about their success, their 10K per month, 20K per month, 30K per month, just be happy for them. I mean, I just scroll on social media looking for these type of messages to just smile about, because I know that it's nice when people actually put in the effort and then they are being rewarded for their effort. So yes, celebrate other people's success. Last but not the least, be healthy in mind and body. Now, mind and body, we've been talking about mind all along, i.e. putting your mindset in the right place to be able to study, to be able to celebrate with others, to be able to be grateful. But then, body. I think the body is also a big challenge for most of us, i.e. Because we don't kind of take care of it. And as my favorite lady, Patrice Washington, would say, this is the only body that you have. The body keeps you in, that you can be able to do things. If you don't look after it, guess what? It's not going to look after you. And I'll just share here quickly. The other day I was speaking with somebody and we're talking about aging, because we are getting on in age, and that's exciting. To me, it is exciting. But we were talking about it, and she said, "Oh, I'm scared that I'm growing older." And I'm like, "No, I feel happy that I'm growing older. Why? Because I know that for the things that I will do for my body will keep me until I'm 100. I used to say 90, but now 100. I will have to take the Queen's letter if I'm still living in England. Even if I'm not, my children will still be in England, and they will apply to either, I don't know, it won't be King Charles, would it? No, it will be Prince William. So he will be King William. Yeah. So it will be King William who perhaps would then be sending me my card. So yes, I'm looking forward to that when I'm 100. If you want to be 100, you have to do the things right now that will get you to that 100. And what are they? You need to incorporate exercises, you need to eat healthy, you need to stimulate your mind with reading, and you need to take your sleep seriously. Those are my points as far as